Good evening, American patriots, and welcome to the live broadcast of the Douglas Ducote Show. You had many places to be tonight and chose to be here with me, and for that, I am forever grateful. Thank you very, very much. Before we get into tonight's show, I just want to share something with you and also ask for your help. Once again, YouTube is doing a lot of crazy things to this channel, as well as many other conservative and Republican type channels, or anybody that supports Make America Great Again, for crying out loud. I get emails from you guys all the time, hundreds a day, which I'm very thankful for. I'm sorry that I cannot answer all of your emails, but I have been paying close attention to what a lot of you have been saying, and that is that YouTube keeps unsubscribing you from the YouTube channel, and then you have to go back in and resubscribe. And I'm also hearing from you guys that those that are subscribed that haven't been unsubscribed, your notifications have been turned off by YouTube, so you don't get notified that there is a show going on. This censorship is something that was expected to happen, as it did during the last presidential election, as we started leading up to the final days. And they're doing it once again. How bad it's going to get, I'm not sure. So I went into the backside of my YouTube channel to take a look at the analytics and see exactly how much damage is being done, and it is very significant. One thing I've noticed is the live show, approximately 300 to 500 people are being actually told that I'm live, as opposed to 120 something thousand people. And we see that in the numbers of the live show, where we're only reaching about 1,000 viewers. Then we go in and we look at the people being unsubscribed, and it's averaging between 800 and 1,400 people every 28 days. I've contacted YouTube so many times, and they say the same song and dance. People just unsubscribe all the time from YouTube channels. We're not doing it. Well, that's BS. And anybody with half a brain knows that's BS. So bottom line, how do we fight this? You know, I just wish they'd go ahead and just cancel the freaking YouTube channel altogether to save me from doing it. Let's just be honest. It's run by Google. Google's a far left liberal company. All they give a shit about is Democrats being in office, and they will attack anything and everything. We're on Rumble, going out live. So go there and sign up to the Douglas Ducote Show Rumble channel if you haven't already done so. We go out live on X, formerly Twitter. Go there. Subscribe to the X account. We go out live on LinkedIn. And of course, always, we have the Douglas Ducote Show. That's douglasducote.com. We're not live there, but once the live show's over with, it gets uploaded to that website. So there are many ways you can watch me besides watching the YouTube program, but I want to keep pushing YouTube. All right. What do I mean by that? For me to just say the hell with YouTube and walk away, which is something I want to do literally constantly, means that they win. All right. So I want to let them keep playing their little game, because there's no way to stop them. They're huge, multi-billion-dollar corporation. And they're doing this on purpose. All right. They're slowly but surely destroying the YouTube channel. I mean, we haven't grown. I mean, we were almost at 400,000 subscribers before the pandemic. And look where we're at right now, about 122,000, I believe. That should show you right there why. Instead of the channel growing, it's going backwards. And they're doing that to try and get me to just quit. And I don't want to quit. I want to keep going out on YouTube as well as Rumble and X and LinkedIn. And we'll probably pick up some other places we go live in the future to continue to grow what we do. But without your support, why am I even doing this? All right. So what I'm asking is reach out to your friends and family. Share this channel. Share all the channels. The Rumble account, the X account, the LinkedIn account, DouglasDucote.com, and especially the YouTube channel. And let's try and turn this around and turn it on YouTube and get this show moving in the opposite direction. Again, moving up instead of down, and beat them at their own game if that's even possible. I mean, if we start getting more subscribers and they have people that they're unsubscribing, who knows if that'll make a difference or not, or if they will just up the ante on how many people they unsubscribe. But what I do know is in between doing shows, they don't mess with it. But when it comes time, the day of the show, boom, they start unsubscribing people. And that stays going on for about 14 to 15 hours constantly. And of course, I get the messages from you guys saying, Doug, I keep getting unsubscribed and I have to go back in and resubscribe. Again, YouTube says, oh, people just do that. They just unsubscribe. Well, I know for a fact that's bullshit because they've unsubscribed my wife many times, my children many times, my parents, my cousins, friends coming to me saying, dude, I'm getting unsubscribed all the time from your channel. So if you watch me on YouTube, that's great. Share the hell out of this YouTube channel on all your social media platforms so we can try and fight this censorship. But at the same time, if you like this show, don't count on YouTube for me to be around forever on it. Either they're going to shut me off completely or I'm going to tell them to go fuck off because I've had enough of dealing with these far left liberal censorship Nazis at Google. So therefore, go to Rumble and it's free. It's just like YouTube, folks, except it's not run by a bunch of Nazis. Go to Rumble, sign up for Rumble, just like you do YouTube. Go to the Douglas Ducote Show and follow me there as well. And also on X. Twitter, before it was taken over by Elon Musk, was a disaster for Republicans and conservatives, anybody that supported Donald Trump. They attacked everything we did, just the way that YouTube does, for instance. Now that's changed. It's backfired on all of them. Most of those liberals are gone or hightailing it out of there because now they're being fact-checked for the lies that they put out about us. And now Republicans and conservatives in this Make America Great Again movement is thriving at X, formerly Twitter. And so that is a good thing. All right, so let's get right into tonight's show. I want to start with something that is very alarming, and this should be something that upsets everyone that's an American citizen. Whether you became an American citizen last week, or you were born and raised here, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, what is taking place right now in Colorado is mind-boggling. Mayor Mike Kaufman of Aurora, Colorado, he's been on many mainstream media outlets in the past 24 hours, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, NBC, CBS, all of them, all right? after surveillance footage showing armed illegal immigrant Venezuelan gang members in an apartment complex went viral online. Kaufman confirmed that at least 2 apartment complexes within the city limits have been overtaken by Venezuelan gangs. The mayor also admitted on air that the gang leader, who goes by the name of Cookie Monster, has been apprehended. So, hey, that's a good thing. He said this is an organized criminal effort. So there are several apartment buildings that have fallen to these Venezuelan gangs. I'm trying to walk it back and do the investigation as to how there's this concentration of Venezuelans in these 3 buildings, said Kaufman. Someone put them there and somebody's funding it. Whether it's the federal government or not, we're trying to find out who these gangs are and what attracted this huge group of Venezuelan illegal immigrants to Colorado in the first place. And so they're in fact have kind of pushed out the property management through intimidation and then collecting the rent money from those in the apartment complex. They now have to pay this illegal immigrant gang from Venezuela or move. An anonymous former resident of one of the apartment buildings confirmed to Fox News Digital yesterday that members of the Trendy Agua gang have collected rent from residents in at least one of the overrun complexes. Mayor Kaufman claims the city of Aurora is a victim of federal policy and nearby Denver's, Colorado's, sanctuary city policy. He said, this is not our problem, it's a federal problem, an issue, and they need to resolve it, not us, he said. So let me stop right there for just a second. Now, understand that Mayor Kaufman is a Republican. But guess what, sir? This is your problem. It's in your city. Tell your law enforcement, if the federal government's not going to get involved and come fix this problem, for them to fix this problem. The governor needs to activate the state police and all the agencies in Colorado to come take care of this fucking gang and put their ass in prison. So it is your problem, governor or mayor. It's your problem. Face it. He said, I think we're a victim of failed policy at the southern border. And no shit. What you have, according to law enforcement, is Venezuela does not cooperate with the United States in sharing criminal histories. You have a third of that country leave. You have these massive waves of illegals coming across the border, and many of them cross the border illegally, were arrested, asked for political asylum, were not adequately vetted because Venezuela won't share that information with America, were released into the country, and in this case, our city. We did everything we could to, quite frankly, keep them out of the city because it's not our problem. This is a federal problem, the mayor asserted. Again, Mayor Kaufman, wake the fuck up. This is your problem. You're the mayor of that city. Act like it and do something. If you're waiting on Joe Biden to activate the federal government to come help you, then you're smoking Hunter Biden crack because it's not going to happen. One Aurora mom has gone viral in her video claiming that she doesn't feel safe taking her children to public parks in the area anymore because the Venezuelan gang members are hanging out there and terrifying people. She said, I understand they're coming here for a better life, but at the same time, this life that we're living isn't getting better for the people they're bringing here. Aurora PD, as in police department, whose answers to the mayor, has not released a statement on this in quite some time. They did put one out shortly yesterday on social media, on X, but they called it an isolated incident. So, just so we all understand what's happening here, we have a Republican mayor in Aurora, Colorado, Mayor Mike Kaufman, who appears to not have a spine and doesn't know how to be a mayor and doesn't understand that this is his problem and he has to do something about it and fix it now. We have a group of illegal gang members have been allowed to come into America by Biden and Harris, not being arrested and allowed to take over at least 2 apartment buildings, forcing the residents to pay them their rent money. Now, yes, the federal government should be involved. Yes, I understand your frustration, Mayor Kaufman, by saying it's a federal problem. There should be a full-blown, in combat gear, FBI raid taking place on those apartment buildings. But you're not going to see that. Not going to see it at all. And that's sad. So you're stuck with making your own law enforcement do their job. Now, I don't have any friends that I know of in Aurora, Colorado that's in law enforcement, but I do have some that's in state law enforcement in Colorado that I've reached out to. And they said that to their knowledge, there has been absolutely no correspondence from the mayor to them to get involved to help with the situation. Now, there's video out there of Aurora Police Department showing up just to stand by as residents try and flee the apartment complex and load their shit into U-Hauls so the gang members don't attack them or take their shit from them. Not arresting these people. Now, maybe there's something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about yet. Maybe there's fixing to be a full-blown raid in the next 5 minutes. But when I came on the air tonight, that's the story as it stands until anything else changes. That's happening in America, thanks to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. If that wasn't bad enough, over the past week in California, we've had 2 separate incidents where illegal members, illegal immigrants running the streets have tried to physically stop and block school buses taking children to school and take over those buses. It is my understanding in one case, and I've yet to be able to vet this properly, I'm just going to tell you what was passed on to me about 30 minutes ago. They managed to accomplish this and demanded like $15,000 in cash to release this bus. Again, I don't know that to be fact. I'm just telling you what was passed on to me recently. I do know, because I saw the article in the New York Times and the Washington Post that talked about at least 2 incidents where these shit ton of illegals, like 15, 20 people, tried to stop these buses and jump on board them. And the bus drivers kept the doors from being open. You know, you can grab that thing and just hold it and then sped away. Thank you, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And so let's talk about what's happening right now at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. How are we in this situation? While America continues turning to shit with the economy, open borders, with illegal aliens, gang members, sex trafficking, drugs, and terrorists flowing across, and the world on fire with the Russia-Ukraine war, the Israel-Hamas war, Iran supporting Hamas and Hezbollah, while also building nuclear weapons and threatening to kill everybody in Israel with a nuclear weapon and Western countries like us. North Korea threatening the same. North Korea siding with China and supplying weapons to Russia because their shit's being depleted drastically because we're supplying Ukraine with the military weapons to fight off this major, the second largest military in the world. The little bitty country of Ukraine has kept at bay because of our support in military operations. Our military currently involved in massive buildups in the Middle East in case Iran makes good on its promise to conduct a full-scale attack on Israel. All of this going on. Joe Biden has started his second straight week of vacationing, providing more fodder for critics who insist he's not finishing out his term with very much vigor. Biden arrived at his Delaware beach house Sunday, where he will remain until at least Saturday, according to the New York Post. Biden arrived following a week vacation stay with his family at a Democrat Party donor California ranch estate. Democrat Party donor by the name of Joe Kiani, K-I-A-N-I. Biden also reportedly has no public event scheduled while he's at his beach retreat this week. Biden has been criticized over overusing vacation time and when he is supposed to be the leader of the free world, which, by the way, he hasn't led for 3.5 years. Why should we expect any different now? During the 3rd anniversary of the Kabul airport bombing that killed 13 American soldiers on Monday, White House National Security Communication Advisor John Kirby was pressed with many reporters, saying that basically Biden is nothing but a ceremonial figure at this point. After bowing out of the race to win re-election this past July, Biden told reporters he is not going anywhere and intends to work like hell until the end of his term in January 2025. Over the next 6 months, I'll be focused on doing my job as president, Biden added during a July 24th Oval Office address, which, by the way, was only the 3rd time he had given any address from the Oval Office. Since becoming president, Joe Biden has spent approximately 40% of his time in 3.5 years on vacation. Now, I get it. When a president goes anywhere, whether it's on vacation, to another country, somebody's home in California, everything he needs to do his job goes with him. The plane, the staff, you name it. But nothing that he's doing is resonating out through the media to we the people, other than he's kicked back on a fucking beach right now and was kicked back drinking wine in California. It's some billionaire's home. And I get it. Hell, you're the president of the United States. Hell yeah, you need a vacation. I'm all for vacations. I take as many as I can whenever I can. But this guy is on vacation all the time. And at times when you want to see your president hold press conferences and talk about the situation and how he's going to do, what he's going to do to fix it. But not this guy. No, he should be addressing the nation tonight about what's happening in Aurora, Colorado. He should be addressing the nation about what's happening with the school buses in California. Is he doing any of that? No. House Speaker Mike Johnson, alongside other congressional Republicans, had called on Biden's cabinet to consider invoking the 25th Amendment, which allows for the vice president to take over the president's duties if he's unable to fill responsibilities necessary to run the White House. Democrats even sought to invoke the 25th themselves during the final days of former President Trump's term in office. Who's running the country? Several social media users asked, including Representative Wesley Hunt. An armed illegal alien street gang from Venezuela seizes an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado. Residents are terrified. Meanwhile, Joe is on his second vacation in 2 weeks, and Kamala Harris is preparing for her first interview in 40 days. What a shit show we've been watching unfold for the past 3.5 years. And folks, it's only going to get worse before it gets better. I assure you that. Sadly. Loved ones of students killed in school shootings slammed Vice President Kamala Harris, detailing that Harris supports removing police officers from schools. My brother was killed in a Sandy Hook elementary school shooting because of liberal policies like the one Kamala is pushing. I wish there had been a police officer there to protect him. Students need more protection, not less. School safety advocate J.T. Lewis posted to X. Lewis' younger brother, 6-year-old Jesse Lewis, was killed in the 2012 Sandy Hook shooting in Connecticut that left 26 children and staffers dead. Lewis was reacting to Harris's comments when she was declaring her support for removing police officers from schools in an effort to demilitarize campuses. She said, what we need to do about demilitarizing our school and taking police officers out of the school. We need to deal with the reality and speak the truth around school discipline, wherein particularly Black and brown boys are being expelled or suspended as young as elementary school, Harris said. Now, let me stop there for a second. Listen, Madam Snowflake Idiot, if Black and brown boys or any color boys weren't acting up like a bunch of fucking thugs, terrorizing shit and doing horrible things like school shootings, we wouldn't need police in schools. But no, it doesn't matter the color of your skin, you racist bitch. If you're a kid and you're in school and you're breaking all the rules, fucking go to jail, don't pass go. That's what America wants. Except for the few liberal freaks out there. Back in 2019, Harris joined the Presidential Justice Forum at Benedict College in Columbia, South Carolina. Some of you may recall. In October of that year, before she dropped out of the 2020 race and was announced as President Biden's running mate, a college student asked Harris how she would go about expunging the records of juveniles to allow them to attend college, including expunging criminal offenses, not just a marijuana impungement. That's a great question and a great point, Kamala Harris said, because when we talk about reform of the criminal justice system, we've got to understand that the juvenile justice system is in dire need of reform, and I know that. And I've seen it, Harris responded, touting her 2020 campaign's plan of action of criminal justice reform. I will end solitary confinement of any juvenile in jail, which includes what we need to do to talk about and have a commitment for less incarceration of juveniles. So just give them a fucking break. Oh, they're just 15 or 16. They got a driver's license, whatever. They're not 18 yet. They're not 21. So, just give them a slap on the wrist because they fucking raped Sally or whatever they did. And I have guidelines in terms of exactly what those numbers should be, because right now, in so many states, children are being incarcerated for a couple of days, and this is traumatic, she said. Much less weeks, months, or years that we're seeing happening, she explained. Other family members of school shooting victims joined Lewis in their condemning of Harris's comments, including Ryan Petty and Andrew Pollock, two dads who lost their teenage daughters in a tragic Stoneman Douglas High School shooting in 2018. Reckless, radical. Kamala wants to make schools less safe, they said. Your kids aren't safe with Kamala Harris in any office. Petty, who lost his 14-year-old daughter, Alana Petty, in 2018 shooting, tweeted in response to the Trump War Room posting footage of Harris's comment. This is sickening, he said. My daughter was killed because Parkland didn't have enough security. We need more school resource officers, not fewer. Pollock, whose 18-year-old daughter, Meadow Pollock, was killed in the same shooting, posted on X. Harris' comments declaring support for the removal of officers from schools were made ahead of that 2020 summer of protests and riots in response to the killing of George Floyd during a police interaction on Memorial Day of that year. Floyd's death reignited calls of activism to defund the police, which had a cascading effect across the country as liberal cities moved to slash police budgets, and school boards also voted to sever ties with police departments. Researchers with the outlet Education Week found in 2022 that at least 50 school districts between May 2020 through June of 2022 had removed their police officers from campuses or slashed budgets for school officers. The plans to remove officers from schools, however, in most cases, was short-lived as violence broke out on the campuses because there was no cops there. When students returned to classroom following the pandemic and its lockdowns. In the face of violence, such as a shooting at a Denver high school or repeated fights with the Alexandria, Virginia school district, education officials from coast to coast backtracked on removing officers, welcomed them back to campus in an effort to curb violence. You couldn't make this shit up if you tried. I mean, you literally couldn't. The final debate rules that ABC News is presenting to the campaigns cast aside a push by Vice President Kamala Harris' team to keep candidates' microphone hot during tense live exchanges. Instead, the mics will be live only for the candidates who have been designated as the speaker at that moment and muted during their opponents' times. That snatches away an 11th hour bid by Team Harris to try to reverse a key rule of the June CNN smackdown between Trump and President Joe Biden, where the president's answers helped bring an end to Biden's re-election campaign. That didn't have anything to do with it. Just so y'all know out there in Team Harris, it was because Joe Biden has a mental illness and didn't even know he was at a fucking debate. You didn't watch it? You're Team Biden. He was lost. After Harris became the effective nominee, her team tried to negotiate changes, arguing that the hot mic could allow Trump to make an unforced error, and taunted him by saying he lacked the capability to act presidential for a full 90 minutes. And by the way, that's kind of what we like about him. Fuck acting presidential when it's time not to act presidential. Act like an alpha male that's in charge of shit. That's what Donald Trump does. That pisses off the left and the Democrats because, oh, it hurts our feelings. How can you be so politically incorrect? Listen up, snowflakes. This world was built, this country was built on alpha males. When you take away that and you strip our society of it, like we're doing in our military, like we're doing in across our country, teaching our kids that masculine men are bad for society, you're turning us into a pussified country that's going to just fail miserably. That's what people liked about Donald Trump. He spoke his mind. You knew what he was thinking. You didn't have to guess. He called it out right then and there. Not once. And I'd like you to show me this, liberals and Democrats, if it's out there. Did Donald Trump go on an attack of anyone that didn't attack him first, verbally or in writing? Nope, not once. He treated everybody with respect, the way he wanted to be treated, unless you did him wrong. And when you trashed him, he came after you with both barrels blasting. They don't like that. That's the only reason there's this massive push to put him in prison and put him away and stop him from becoming president again. Because they don't want an alpha male in office. They want a weak, pathetic pussy like they got right now that's going to cave to the left and their warped ideology of craziness. But the rest of us, we didn't vote for Trump because of whether or not he's going to say something that's politically correct. We don't give a shit what he says when he goes off script. We care about what he's going to do for our military, for our country's economy, for our border, for our law enforcement, for protecting our Constitution, for getting actively involved like he did the last time with these other rogue countries and putting them in check. That's all we give a shit about. Save democracy. And they're trying to say he's going to destroy democracy. No, he's going to destroy the fact that you want your kid that's 5, that was born a male, to have his penis cut off and transformed into, from Craig Smith to Jill Smith. It's nuts. Moving on, campaigns are being asked to agree to these terms. The debate is set for September 10th in Philadelphia, right around the corner. Harris continues to introduce herself to the public and is riding a post-convention poll bounce in the polls after turning the race into a toss-up contest by standing in for Biden, supposedly. And we'll talk about that here in a second. As with the first debate on CNN, between Trump and, at that time, Biden, there will be no audience. This is a move that denies candidates the chance to try to score prohibited applause with zingers. And for watching all of Trump's past debates with Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, the no audience only helps Kamala Harris. Because God forbid if Trump throws a zinger out there to make you look like the idiot that you are, because that's not presidential. And oh, we can't have that. There will be 2 ABC moderators, David Murr, M-U-I-R, and Lindsay Davis in the 90-minute program. This also, by the way, favors Kamala, if you don't know who these 2 are, because they have full-blown Trump derangement syndrome, as does the network they work for, ABC. Just like with the last CNN debate, props and pre-written notes are not going to be allowed. Candidates will simply get blank paper and pen and a water bottle. The rules allow for 2-minute answers as well as rebuttals lasting the same time. An additional minute is allowed for follow-up and rebuttals. And a sign of how prior debates have sometimes gone off the rails, the channel's moderators will seek to enforce the time deals and keep a civilized discussion. Our understanding is that Trump's team prefers the muted microphones because they don't think their candidate can act presidential for 90 minutes on his own, said Harris advisor Brian Fallon, aimed the negotiations this week. Trump this week attacked the network and threatened to pull out over the microphone issue. Then later said he was okay with the mics being left on while sticking to a deal his team negotiated with Biden. Why would I do a debate against Kamala Harris on that network, he asked. That's a great question, sir. Why would you? I don't know. I can assure you this much. I guarantee you 99.9% Harris is going to have the answers that are going to be asked of her and you going into this. So she's prepared. Because we all know from watching her when she's not on a teleprompter that she is Queen Salad. She is a disaster. She babbles about crap in a conversation about something that doesn't make any sense to anybody that's listening to it. Word salad, whatever you want to call it, she is out there. There's no way for her to stand up toe-to-toe against Donald Trump. We've seen Joe Biden try and do it. We've seen what happened to Hillary Clinton when she tried to do it. We saw what happened during the primaries with the Republican candidates when they tried to do it. He smokes you, period. So if you think for 1 second that Kamala Harris is not going into this debate already knowing what the answers are so she can prepare herself with how, or what the questions are so she can prepare herself with how to answer them, then you're not paying attention to what the hell's going on in this country and in politics for that matter. Speaking of Kamala Harris's home state, or where she was a DA in, you guys are going to love this. This is one of those stories that you just want to grab somebody by the throat and say, what the fuck are you thinking? A bill passed by the California state legislature yesterday will give illegal immigrants in California a generous cash assistance to buy a home. It's been sent to the desk of the governor for consideration, Gavin Newsom. Under the bill, AB 1840, listen closely, illegal immigrants would qualify for a program called California Dream for All that gives first-time illegal alien home buyers $150,000, and they only have to pay interest if they sell the property. I'm going to repeat that a little different. They're going to give illegal aliens $150,000 to go buy a house. No interest. As long as you keep it, you're good to go. Sell it, it's going to cost you a little bit. Newsom has declined to comment on whether or not he will sign the bill after some moderate Democrats join Republicans in the California Senate in an attempt to block it, saying this is not right. California Democrat Senator Scott Weiner said on Tuesday that illegal immigrants who would qualify for assistance under the law are exactly the kind of people that you want in your community, according to the California Senate transcript. These are people who are working and paying taxes, and yes, they should be able to buy a home, he said. They should be part of this program. Republican opponents of the legislation, however, have argued that the state's limited resources, if anything, should go to American citizens who need assistance. We have Californians who are not undocumented immigrants who need these services, Republican State Senator Brian Dahl said Tuesday. We should take care of them first before we expand it out. Providing housing subsides without substantially increasing the supply of homes could raise prices for everyone else. Economists have said Governor Newsom pledged to address the housing shortage in his state while campaigning back in 2017 by building 3.5 million new homes by 2035. However, between the governor taking office in 2019 and the beginning of this year, 2024, the state has increased its net housing supply by just around 600,000 units. If they have 25,000 more to spend on a house, they'll submit bids up to 25,000 higher for the home. University of Cincinnati economist Professor Mike Jones told ABC News, speaking about a policy proposed by Vice President Kamala Harris that would provide a cash subsidy for first-time home buyers. That policy in particular is a bad idea because it won't bring the prices of housing down. Newsom has shown a willingness to veto some legislation passed by Democrat lawmakers in the state, vetoing a bill back in September 2023 that will require judges to weigh in on a parent's rights, whether or not they have any rights at all, if their child wants to have gender surgery. He also vetoed bills that would have allowed cannabis vendors to sell food and decriminalize psychedelic drugs. So he may or may not sign this bill, but he has until September 30th to make his decision. So here is an idea for the California lawmakers that came up with this stupid idea. How about you give this interest-free $150,000 to military veterans to buy their first home? The ones that allow you, gave you the freedoms to make these dumbass decisions. Because without military veterans, guess what? You'd be speaking a foreign language right now. Or the thousands of homeless veterans in California come to mind too. Sure, veterans that received an honorable discharge can apply for a VA loan. I did. Many veterans do. But that is not an interest-free loan by any means. And in fact, a VA loan, all it does is it gives the lender a peace of mind that if you default for whatever reason, they're still going to get their money back because the government's going to give it to them. And then the government will go after you, the veteran. What you're doing, California, is about as un-American as it gets. But I don't expect anything less from that state. I lived in California for several years. I was a law enforcement officer in California. I was a National Guard member in California. One of the happiest, most satisfying days of my life was looking at that state in my rearview mirror as I drove the fuck away from it. I still have lots of friends and even some family members that live there. For one reason or another, they're still there. Some of them are going to be leaving. I wish they could all leave yesterday. California, just like Washington State and Oregon and New York, just to name a few, have gone to shit. They're not getting better, they're getting worse. They're going downhill. And it's a prime example, just like with our country, what happens when you put Democrats in charge. How people don't wake up and realize this, I don't get it. I guess you're just stupid. You're not smart enough to think outside of the box that you're in. I used to be a Democrat. Democrats run all through my family. My cousin was a Democrat governor of this state several times here in Louisiana. Trust me, the Democrat Party runs deep in the Ducote family. I was the first one in my family to switch parties and go, this is fucked up. This is not the party that my parents were part of and my grandparents were part of. No, this is the party now hijacked by far-left liberal ideology that's destroying it, and everything they touch, they're breaking. Just look at any metropolitan city in America, and what do you find there? That's where your most crime rate is. That's where your Antifa is, your BLM is, your black-on-black crime, your mass murdering, shooting of black people in the streets. Pick one. New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Chicago, Philadelphia, Oakland, California. Pick one. Anywhere where Democrats are in charge goes to shit. It's been that way for the past at least 35 years. If I can realize that, and also realize that they're the party of full-blown racism, they founded the KKK. They founded Planned Parenthood, which was originally designed to eliminate the black race by killing black babies. They fought tooth and nail against Abraham Lincoln. Hell, they assassinated Abraham Lincoln for freeing the black people. They were for segregation. The Democrat Party is the biggest racist organization that ever existed. And it's still that way today by just looking at what are they doing to help out these poor communities of blacks in these cities? Nothing. Zero. Nada. They're doing absolutely nothing. That's the way they want it. Live on the government tit and allow us to give you benefits so you keep voting for us. Well, wake the fuck up if you don't want your kids getting gunned down in the streets of Chicago or down in New Orleans. Stop voting for Democrats. That is the only way your city will ever get turned around and your kids will be safe. And here we are, just a few months away from either 4 more years of Democrat destruction of this country or make America great again like it was before Biden came along and destroyed it. Anyhow, you had a many place you could be. You chose to be here with me tonight, and for that, I'm forever grateful. I appreciate it very, very much. As I told you in the beginning of tonight's show, please share my videos, share my channel, wherever you're watching me tonight, whether it's on Rumble, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on X or LinkedIn. Let your family and friends know about the show. Make sure you tell them if they've got kids that I'm not politically correct and that I say a few bad words every now and then, which make adult liberals cry, because it's being censored big time. The YouTube channel is. Rumble's doing good. Go to Rumble if you haven't already done so. Sign up at Rumble and join my show there, The Douglas Ducote Show. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, whatever you're doing. Please be safe. Make sure your family members know that you love them. Take care of one another. Watch out for one another. And as always, please say a prayer for our men and women serving the United States military, our veterans, our law enforcement officers, our first responders, their families, our angel families, our blue and gold star families in our country. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless each and every one of you. And if anything breaks between now and next Tuesday that's of importance to American patriots, I will either do a video about it or I'll come on and do a live program about it. Other than that, I'll see you next Tuesday. Have a safe one. Be blessed. And thank God that we live right now in the greatest country on planet Earth, subject to change in November. Take care, everyone.